Hello and welcome to JoyNews Interactive with me, Bernice Abubedu. Your views are very welcome. On Facebook and Twitter, we are JoyNews on TV. This show is live from digital address GA0992539 in Kokomlimi, Accra. It's also live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. And it's midweek, which means that we'll be getting Kobe Spike and Chroma on the show with Tech Wednesday. And today we'll also be talking about something very interesting. What would you do if someone sends a picture of you watching pornography to your email and asks you to pay? Wondering how this can happen? Just hold your horses. Spikey will be joining us later for Tech Wednesday on this. Now let's start our interactivity with some appraisal or analysis of ministers serving under the leadership of President Akufo-Addo. Now, news broke on Monday that Energy Minister Boatie Jakun had been sacked. It was topical throughout the day and even the day after. So we want to do a little assessment of the ministers under this government. Obviously, the assessment coming from you. Which minister do you think has not performed well so far and why? You've been sharing with us your thoughts on Facebook. We'll bring it to you shortly. And we'll start with Bako Blackman. He thinks the health minister hasn't done well. He doesn't tell us why. And Jimmy Victor says, well, all of them aren't good. He says, Abdul says special initiatives. The Ministry of Aviation, Railways, Roads should be brought together as transport. He says, Jacob Mill says, Minister for Special Initiative, Aviation, Roads, Zongo Minister, all right, Agriculture, and so many are all underperforming, he says. Nana Foxtrot says Tourism Minister, Health Minister, Education Minister, Sports Minister. Oh, there's a list he's putting out there. And Agri Minister and Foreign Minister. Asaya says Minister of Finance. Okay, because he failed to pay teacher salary arrears. All right, as Samuel Kweku says, I think the Trade Minister and his deputy and the Agric Minister. And this is in response to the question, which minister do you think has not performed well? And Kojo Abochi says, we have the men, hashtag now we know pa. And he thinks that, well, some money is being stolen. I don't know exactly what he may be referring to. The Kwabna Sapong says the fisheries minister 100% no job done. Okay, Lloyd says firing squad killers. Nanado knows them all. Okay, Frank Emperor says do we even have ministers in this country? I only know of the energy minister. And Kweku Kwating says Minister of Education and the financial minister hashtag pay the salary arrears of teachers. We also have one from Emmanuel. He says Osafo Mafo Napo, that's the Minister of Education, Matthew Poku Prempe, okay, who's been fired. Kandapa, you mean, Oforiata Gloria Kufu. Okay, but Martin Amidu, so the minister is he. And Issa Kelly says the health minister, I think he's next to be fired. And Dos Santos says some ministers are not even seen. How do we assess them? Well, if you don't see them, do you see their works? You can assess them then. Justin says Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Is he alive? And Brahma says Inner City and Zongo Development Minister. You're watching JoyNews Interactive with me, Bernice Abubedu. Let's head now to the Academy of Arts and Sciences, where the Ghana Integrity Initiative is having an interfaith corruption conversation and also launching the project as well. Now, the theme is Speak Up, Resist and Report Corruption. We'll be taking you there shortly, but we know that the spokesperson of the Chief Imam will be there, and also the Archbishop Palmer Buckle is also in attendance, as well as the Shraj boss. All right, so let's bring you more here on JoyNews Interactive, even as we take your assessment of ministers under the Akufo-Addo government. Now, let's do some entertainment stories now. Now, there have been rumors of a row, or beef as they call it in the entertainment world, between Shatta Wale and Stonebwoy over who is the king of dancehall music in Ghana. But there may be a truce now, because Shatta Wale has called on Stonebwoy to forget the past so they can record a song together. This is not the first time we're seeing something that looks like a truce. There was their shaman concert. You remember that? Okay. So we want to ask you this. Do you want to see a Shatta Wale Stonebwoy collaboration? Are you sure you want to see that? Well, Samuel says, not at all. The competition between them makes the music industry exciting. But one thing Ghanaians in the whole world should know is that Stonebwoy is lyrically better than Shatta. And Ideas Dos Santos says it will be good for the noise maker, Shatta, to collaborate with a cool, talented and matured but young artist like Stonebwoy. It will uplift his good image small, okay? And he comes as he says, Stonebwoy is an international artist, while Gringo is a local champion, so it'd be good for the local artists and an international one to collaborate, okay? We are trying to, patch up, and you're just, but your comment is quite, well, okay. Ima says Stonebwoy is far gone, Wale must catch up with him first, and Ebo Hagen says, I thought two people said Stonebwoy is collaborating with international acts. Now you want him to collaborate with local act Shatta Wale. Well, we are not the ones saying it. Apparently, Shatta is the one calling for it. And Philip Ahuma says, yes, they should put their differences aside and shock the world. Aseye says, yes, at least there will be some peace for we the fans to enjoy. Now let me take you to the Academy of Arts of Sciences, where the Ghana Integrity Initiative, GII, is launching its interfaith anti-corruption project currently at the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, and it's on the theme Speak Up, Resist and Report Corruption.
To pool our resources and our efforts together to fight corruption, which NACAP stands for. The issues of corruption, I'm sure if we decide to go into what is corruption, why corruption, the costs of corruption, the price that we are paying for corruption, we can speak for several days and we'll still not be able to exhaust it. So I think I will move straight and be very brief to why we have met here. The need for the faith and the leadership of the faith to take their place in the fight against corruption. One of the greatest strengths of the Ghanaian society and Africa is our faith. It is our faith. Contrary to what people say about our faith is one of the greatest strengths that we can ever be blessed to have. If there's any problem, it is how we have used our faith has become the problem for us, and which we must address as a people. It is widely acclaimed that the African is incurably or notoriously religious, as we have. Obvious for us that in Ghana, when you talk about God, you don't need to speak much about him, because virtually every home professes God. And as we have already learned, about 95% of the population profess one faith or another. So for a people that is notorious, you wonder how come we are so hospitable to corruption. The very thing our faith consider as abomination. The Christian faith considers corruption as an abomination. The Islamic faith does. The traditional religion does. I don't know any other faith probably that says that corruption should be applauded. But in practice, we applaud corruption. What has gone wrong with our faith? That such levels of corruption in our society has that which should be our strength become our greatest weakness. Has it become our greatest weakness? Who are the people who engage in corruption or corrupt practices in our society? Who engage in the indiscipline that we see all over our society? Who engage in the lawlessness? Is it not the same people? The same people who troop into our churches, in our mosques, in our other centers of worship. 95% of the population. It's not the same people who are seen daily engaging in corrupt practice, daily engaging in indiscipline and lawlessness. And I will repeat what the Honorable Bishop said. Should our faith not make a difference? If people who do not have faith do not know the way are misconducting themselves, we who profess to know the way, who profess to have faith, should we not make a difference in our society? Should we not see more people of integrity, probity, and accountability who eschew unethical behavior and impropriety in our society? Should we not be seeing more of such people? How come that all that we see is corruption, indiscipline, and lawlessness? My house shall be called the house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. What are the various faiths teaching or inculcating in our people that is producing unbridled corruption, indiscipline, and lawlessness in every area of our lives? Because we are born into the church or born into the mosque right from infancy. We grow in the church or in the mosque. So what is it that we are putting in them that it comes out in a manner that looks strange? On one occasion, God had to ask his people, I cultivated you a choice plan. So what is it that I'm seeing? What is it that we are putting in our people who are the adherents of our faith, either Christians or Muslims, that come out in the form of the corruption, the indiscipline, the lawlessness that we are seeing in our society? I want us to ask ourselves this question, because if our teachers were to produce mass failures from our schools, we will question what type of teaching are our teachers teaching the children. If every year our students are failing, we will question them. Why is it that we are not write the exams? So what is it that the faith is putting in our people that when they come out in reality, when they meet issues or at least challenges, they bend and get themselves compromised, they engage in corrupt practice? How come that whenever we come out as a people, sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult. So we ask ourselves, are we, in the words of Jesus Christ, raising people who outwardly appear righteous to men, but inside they are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness? We started this morning's program with a prayer. In fact, our very national anthem is a prayer. So what is wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons why Ghana adopted a national anti-corruption action plan is because we cannot continue the way things are going on in our society. And let me see, Ambassador, one of the biggest sectors that Denmark would have left for this nation is the support as to the national. If we can never be grateful for what Denmark has done for this city, this alone make us great. It's about changing our society and our way of thinking and our attitude. And we are grateful for that. The National Anti-Corruption Action Plan is to help the nation systematically fight and win the war against corruption. And this is not about we just making some few speeches here. This is about a call to action. And that is why this morning I feel that the leaders of the faith must hear this call to action. That we cannot continue what we have been doing that is producing what we see in our society. We may have to take a step back and look at what we must do to get things right in our society. The NACAP seeks to mobilize the efforts and resources of all stakeholders, including faith-based organizations, who are, for me, the custodians of our values. The custodians of our values. Because they are the ones who are supposed to train us the way we should go, so that when we grow, we will not depart from it. And we are doing so through the promotion of high ethics and integrity and the vigorous enforcement of applicable laws. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan has identified high tolerance or acceptance of corruption as a major factor for the high prevalence of corruption in our society. It has also identified poor attitudes and mindsets as key factors we have to address if we will make any headway in our anti-corruption efforts. And this is where, for me, your role even comes in stronger, because you deal with attitude, you deal with mindset, you deal with values. As long as the people of Ghana accept corruption and indiscipline as a way of life, it will be next to impossible to make any serious inroads in the fight against corruption. And that is where we are now. As long as we continue to maintain this attitude that we have, the vision of Ghana beyond aid is forgotten. But if we can change, and the change can come, if the leadership of the faith can play its crucial role in reforming attitudes, in reforming mindsets, and building the right values of integrity, honesty in our people. One of the key strengths of the faith is its capacity to bring about genuine inner change that finds expression in the mindset and in attitude of people. The teachings of the faith can influence tremendously to bring about positive or negative change depending on what we teach. That is why, with all respect and with all humility, I believe that, and just like the good bishop said, we must accept that we are part of the problem, and that until we become humble and deal with our role in this matter, we will not be able to make any headway against the fight against corruption. Because it is, if it is garbage in, it is garbage out. Public sector has now received more persons from the civil society and the private sector working in the public sector.